Do you have absolute waste men still stuck in your team? Do you now have a clean-up on aisle 4 because of the Double Game Week? Well, you've come to the right place. No, I'm not an FPL cleaning service, but I'm just the best ever FPL scout to ever exist. And this is the Game Week 20 Players to Watch. This is the series where I suggest the best ever FPL players, looking at the geezers that have been performing quite well lately, who could be good enough to be your next sexy FPL transfer. Where this week we'll see who played well over the doubles, as well as some replacement for the guys who didn't do well in the doubles and you want to chuck in the bin immediately. But before that, let's talk about the sponsor for today, OneFootball. OneFootball is the all-in-one football app that every football fan will really like. It has all of the great features you need in a football app, like keeping up to date with all of the latest football news from around the world, following any specific team or any player to see what's going on in the football universe and just see what's happening, and many more great stuff, where I actually use it myself to help me for FPL, especially for transfers just like here in the watch list, where you can check on any player, see how they've been doing, filter by different competitions, as well as look at the teams you really want to target and the teams you really want to stay away from. It does everything you need to make the best ever FPL decisions. So if you like what you see, you can click on the link at the top of the video description to download for free today. That's OneFootball, free to get right now. And right now, it's time to look at players for Game Week 20. Jumping straight in and starting with the absolute hero of the Double Game Week. It is John Nestor Stones, who is also accompanied with Ruben Maldini Diaz in defence. Now actually, are these two about to become one of the best defensive partnerships in Premier League history? I'm not even joking, that's not an epic prank, like genuinely. Where Sir John Stones has played 10 games in the league so far this season and has only conceded 2 goals. One of them in his first game, and then the other one only in the dying seconds to Chelsea. Stones hasn't played half of City's games in the league, more at the start of the season, and he has still managed to get 8 clean sheets so far. Like, what? He's got more bloody clean sheets than a laundrette, like, what? And if that wasn't impressive enough, he only went and spanked in 2 goals against the Palace and secured all of the bonus points in that game too. So from the Double Game Week, he had a grand total of 27 points from one FPL game week. Now that right there is actually so sexual and literally puts him in the FPL Hall of Fame straight away. I think it's one of the highest scores from a double game week ever, and is from a defender that only costs 5 million. Wow. But even though he only costs 5 million right now, the performances he's putting in, I would generally pay 20 million on my left nipple for him. He's doing that good. Where he also plays West Brom, Sheffield United and Burnley next. Just coincidentally, the 3 worst attacks in the league. Oh. So clean sheet points, all of the points already secured in the bag. Like, it's guaranteed, isn't it? Meaning John Stones and the entire Man City defence, where you could have like a Diaz or Cancelo instead of him, or as well as him, are all players to watch and more players to get in right now. Honestly, just double or triple up and just have some fun, because they're good. With next on the watch list, and a player that's been going absolutely madders lately, is James Maddison. Where a few little injuries this season have reduced his minutes quite a bit, being subbed more times this season than the Nathan Bacon FC channel, like what? But he has actually got 3 golassos in his last 3 games, whoa! Carry that on, son, and you'll get the golden boot in no time, no problemo. But he has actually been playing, pretty damn well lately. And when he is playing, he's always involved in that Leicester attack. Something you can't always say for their striker, Jamie Vardy. Sorry, too soon for people who owned him in the double game week, I'm sorry. But even though Maddison is always involved in the Leicester team, could he be involved in your team? Where he plays Everton next, which maybe could be a final scouting session with him. And then after that, playing Leeds and Fulham, 2 very winnable games for the Flying Foxes. But then also a very good long run for Leicester, only playing one of the top 6 teams in the next 10 game weeks. Whoa. So he could be a bit of a risky risk, as you don't know if he's going to start all the time and he's not getting full 90 minutes just yet either. But he could also be that risky risk that sprinkles in all of the FPL points and keeps on dripping in those returns into your FPL team. Making him, as well as potentially Harvey Barnes or Tielemans if you're feeling a little bit different, players to watch for Leicester in Game Week 20. With the next player definitely being another double game week, double-digit hero this week, it's Antonio! Honestly, he's such a good forward, and he's actually criminally underpriced in FPL, where he only went and got back-to-back goals with all of the bonus in both of the double games, which were actually his first starts since coming back from injury, and he does that well. Very nice. But West Ham have just quite a lot of firepower now, attacking wingers, creating mids, even cross-heavy fullbacks to all help Antonio to get the most goals he's ever got in a Premier League season. Where his next few fixtures are kinda on and off a bit, but then he does also play Palace, Fulham and Sheffield United in the next 6 games, so very saucy. But when he's doing celebrations like this, and like this, then you just gotta get him in, haven't you? Making him possibly my biggest big boy suggestion this week and another player to add to the Game Week 20 watch list. With next, it's the most prolific goal scorer for one of the Manchester clubs. Who is it gonna be? Well, somehow, it's Ilkay Gundogan. The German Gundogan has only gone and scored more goals this season than Germany's actual striker in the Premier League, Timo Werner. Like, how has Gundogan gone and got all of these goals? And now he's also on penalties. Well, hey! Where Man City also kind of play West Brom, Sheffield United and Burnley in the next 3. So 3 very easy games on paper where you would expect at least a clean sheet, so at least clean sheet point for him. And then also probably a couple of goals in there as well. But what about our man Gundogan here? Where with the absence of Kevin De Bruyne for at least 3 weeks apparently, would that mean that Gundogan could actually miss a game or 2? As you know, Man City might want to put another creative midfielder on the field. As you know, you probably need 2 guys to make up for one Kevin De Bruyne, really, don't you? Sorry. Kevin De Bruyne! Or will it actually make Gundogan even more attacking, where they might need him to cover that little bit of creativity even more? But with him also taking the last penalty, a good hint that he could still very well be a good option. And you know what? Maybe one of the best value assets of the entire game right now. Ooh. Yeah, hasn't he got like 5 goals in the last 7 games when he only cost like 5.5 million? Hey. But the question I would like to ask you, laddos, is, do you think he scores more points than a Man City defender does in the next 3 games? As those fixtures are probably a guaranteed clean sheet with how good their defence has been, meaning Gundogan's gonna have to get the return in each of those 3 games if he wants to score more than them, and to that, I'm not sure he will. I mean, he probably could, and on this form, he definitely could, but maybe not. But then again, if you're already on double City defence, triple may be quite a bit overkill. So yeah, Gundogan still a very good option if you want to chomp onto that Man City's fixtures list thingy majiggy going around. Easy games, easy win, easy points. Making him another player to slap onto the watch list and maybe a player to whap into your FPL team. I swear that wasn't even words, just with the next player, one that is so extreme, there is absolutely no holding this excitement back from this one. It's Rob Holding. Now, Rob has been holding a lot of things lately in his career, mainly injuries, but lately, it's him holding the power to ensure Arsenal keep a clean sheet, as they've actually gone and kept 4 clean sheets in a row. I didn't notice that. Did you notice that? I mean, playing Brighton, West Brom, Palace and Newcastle in a row, you know, does help that. But still, pretty damn impressive. And I feel like he may have gone under the radar just a little bit, as he didn't have a double game week, and he kind of plays for Arsenal. But a very cheap defender who is also a threat from corners could actually be something you're missing to get some balance back into your team after that double. As I don't know about you guys, but sometimes you completely mess up the balance of your team ready to bench boost or whatever you did, and then you look at your team and you're like, this needs sorting. Now, the Arsenal fixtures aren't amazing, but, you know, still a good chance for clean sheets in some of them. And he is definitely cheap enough that you can leave on your bench if you really wanted to anyway. So maybe he's just someone to consider. Maybe not. Is Holding going to be your next transfer? Or are you just going to be holding your next transfer? Making him a player to watch in Game Week 20. With the next player, and the last player of the week. It's one that's very different. One that's definitely a watch before you buy, but could become a very good cheap gem. It's Antonio Rudiger, where he has actually only started 4 games for Chelsea this season, but more importantly, he started both of their double games, their 2 most recent games, instead of Zuma, who has been playing quite well, so that must be saying something in training, right? But the reason for him playing over Zuma, I don't think is clear just yet, so that's why you should maybe just wait a little bit on this one. But if Rudiger does keep playing, he could well be a very good find here, where he is currently only 4.5 million and is owned by less than 1% of people. Where we know Chelsea's defence this season has shown some very promising spells. And I don't know if there's many in a similar situation to me, where you might not quite have the cash to get back in like a Chilwell or even reach to a Reece James. So maybe the very cheap option in Rudiger, who, is not going to get as many points, but at least cover that clean sheet, could well be something to keep on your radar. Especially with their next few games where they play Burnley, Sheffield United and Newcastle very soon. 3 very easy clean sheet games there, which you might not want to miss out on. So yeah, again, I don't suggest buying him now. Definitely one to just keep an eye out and just watch, just like we do with some of these watch list players. And it really doesn't hurt being aware of these kind of secret gem boys going around, making him the final player for today. And that is it for the Game Week 20 watch list, where I try to choose the best performing players from the double, as well as some other potential secret hidden gems in there as well, and just all of the best options to keep on progressing this season and keep on pushing, keep on climbing those ranks and do very, very well. So thank you all for watching, and remember,
don't be a cheeky scrub. Subscribe to Nathan Bacon right now. Don't let your memes be dreams.